Welcome into the Fighting Smile, everybody. I'm Big Al on the It's a Wrap Sports Network. We got a lot of Phillies baseball for you tonight, or should I say this morning, as your Fighting Phils continue to fight and win 8-2 in Arizona out in the desert for the final road trip of the regular season. And the magic number is down to 3. Not the magic number to win the East. They've already done that well ahead of time. They are three. The magic number is down to 3 right now for them to lock up that first round bye. We're going to go over that tonight. We're going to look at the current breakdown of the schedule if the playoffs were to begin today. We're going to go over if your thoughts on the playoffs, your thoughts on the situation tonight. Did the Walker Bueller, Taiwan Walker Bueller tandem, did that show you something? Is Rob tipping his hand to something he may do in the postseason? Something I've talked about in the past. Like, I'm surprised we don't see this more often. Two good pitchers, you can go 4 innings. You can get them together for 8 and one guy to go out, and they only have to use 3 pitchers, especially for guys who probably won't get a lot of time in the postseason. Or maybe you're seeing a demonstration of what might happen if Luzardo or Nola get rocked a little earlier and they have a short leash in the playoffs and they have to pull them. Time will tell. Time will tell, but welcome in, everybody. What's up, Joe Hell? Great win tonight. Absolutely. Great wins, 16-5 since August 22nd. This team is playing the way we'd hope, the way you hoped all year. Pitching's been great. Timely hitting's been great. Hopefully it continues into the postseason. I always could say I am weary about that bye week, that wild card bye, whatever you want to call it. Because baseball guy, so consistency is everything with baseball. But we'll go over all that tonight. Joe's saying Bader looked good and Nicky C looked good tonight. It's nice to see Nick Castellanos have himself a night. I think of all people in that lineup, he deserved it the most, to be honest with you. And if Nick can get a little confidence going into the postseason, that could be a real big coup for the Phillies and for him moving forward. I still think he's out after the season, no matter what happens. They win the World Series, they don't. He could be the hero of the day. I think he's out, no matter what. But Dave, what's going on? Hey, Al, nice win for the Phils. Yeah, listen, every win's nice, but even now they're even more important. They're even sweeter. And it's just the way they're winning. They're not lucking out. They're not just mashing the ball over the fence every time, Dave. They're playing tried and true baseball, which we've been asking for, and it's been going on consistently for at least the month of September and even in a little bit into August as well. So for the last month, they've been playing just really great all-around baseball, especially since Zach Wheeler went down. Trey Turner went down. Alec Boehm went down. Alec Boehm came back tonight with a vengeance, and we're going to talk about all that tonight as well. So buckle up. I mean, I'm not going to be up all night with you guys, but this can be it's a very interesting breakdown. There's a lot of nuances to go through here, but let's start with the box score, right? Harrison Bader was 1 triple away from a cycle tonight with 3 hits on 5 at-bats, 1 run scored, an RBI, as well as a strikeout. And he just continues to amaze everybody. I got a lot of grief when he first came here. I said, I thought he was going to be that guy that is maybe the number 2 hitter. Go Trey, him, Harper, Schwarber. I would like to see Schwarber more in the 4 hole, but I guess we're getting away from that again. I don't know why, but whatever. But, I mean, I guess over the last 2 games is a hard argument to have. Brewers are 2 games up. Yep, yes, they are. So Schwarber was 0 for 4 with a walk and 2 strikeouts. Harper 2 for 3 for the night with a run scored and 2 walks. He's getting on base a lot lately, which is great to see. 1 for 4 for Remuto with a run scored and a walk. Marsh was 2 for 4 tonight with 3 runs scored, 1 walk and 1 strikeout. Boehm 2 for 5 with 1 run, 3 RBIs. Kepler was 0 for 2 before he was pinch hit for Nick Castellanos, who went 2 for 3 with 1 run score, 3 RBIs, and a K. And one of those was his 250th career home run, so that was pretty cool to see. Weston Wilson was 1 for 5 tonight with an RBI and a strikeout. Stott was 0 for 5 tonight. And for tonight, at 40 at-bats, it's 8 runs off of 13 hits, 8 RBIs, 5 walks, and only 8 strikeouts. So that's the other thing is the strikeouts have been fairly on the low side for the most part for this team. And I say anything low side is like 6, 7, 8. Like to me, that's low side for the Phillies, especially with the way this team matches. 5 walks, so you're seeing the plate discipline is great. And they're consistently hitting, and they're even close games, not close games. They're never out of it, and they're dangerous, especially in that 7, 8, 9 inning is really big for this team. Buehler looked good. I wouldn't mind him in the bullpen for the playoffs. Joe, no, I agree with you. And my point is are you going to see? Is Taiwan going to even be in the bullpen? That's a question. It's a question we can, if you guys want to throw some answers in, if you think yay or nay. You don't have to really get into it if you don't want to, but yay or nay would be all I ask you to answer. But is Walker Buehler gonna be the hook guy, as I call him? When the starting pitcher has 3 or 4 good innings, if he starts to struggle, short leash, yank him, and you put in Walker Buehler for a few innings, and you get a full start out of somebody. I mean, it's kind of nice to have. I mean, can't do it 2 nights in a row because you wear them down, but it's a nice little extra to have. The Walker Buehler pickup could be quietly a very big key pickup for them. We don't do well in this field. I mean, in Arizona? Well, that's not exactly true. I mean, was it a year or 2 ago? JT had a cycle there. I mean, they've had success in Arizona. I don't think it's been it's not a house of horrors like San Fran is, or the Mets have been for us, or Miami used to be for us. Joe, you're saying no way for Walker. I don't think so either. And I kind of sucks for him a little bit because he has had a decent year. Outside of the last few starts, he's had a couple. He's had a really decent year. Even tonight, let's look at that. Let's walk over the Walker on Walker lineup tonight. So Taiwan Walker went 4 innings, 5 hits allowed, 4 runs in those 5 innings, 1 walk, 2 strikeouts, and 1 home run. He had a really that first inning, we all you got one of those moments. Like he left the home run. It was quickly 2-0, and then that was it. Buehler went 3 2/3 inning, let up 2 hits the whole time, 2 walks, 3 strikeouts. Those 2 walks came at the end too. Banks came in, 1 pop up, 1 hit, one toss of the ball, popped the ball up, ended that inning. Lazard came in, closed it out, donuts across the board, ended the game in 9 innings pitched, 7 hits, only 2 runs out of those 7 hits. Both of them earned 3 walks, 5 Ks, and the 1 home run I just mentioned to you. And the Phillies, they were, it's about 2-3 game most of the game, and we're going to talk about that. Let's get into that real quick. So it started off with Ketel Marte's homer to right field in the first inning with 1 out. That was it. It was 1 out. Like, oh, here we go. This is what it's going to look like. But Taiwan was able to kind of keep things under control. And then Alec Boehm returning, just getting fresh off the IL. Alec Boehm doubles on a sharp line drive to center field. And Brandon Marsh scores, and it ties the game up. Oh, I'm sorry, I skipped something. That's my bad. Marte's home run, and then they challenged. There's a challenge. It looked like a double play. Wasn't a double play, which allowed Corbin Carroll to score, and it made it 2-0. And then in the second innings, when Alec Boehm returns with a double, making it 2-1, and it stayed that way into the bottom of the 5th. Into, like I said, one of the biggest pickups. I know, and talk about a fan base that gave Dombrowski a lot of grief for this one. Harrison Bader, home run, fly ball, ties it up 2-2 right there. And he, like I said, he was 1 triple away from the cycle tonight. And Weston Wilson puts him over the edge. It's the only score they would need to win. Weston Wilson singles on the ground ball to left field, and Brandon Marsh scores, makes it 3-2 in the 6th. But in the top of the 8th, Nick Castellanos, fresh off the bench, said, I haven't home run in a while. I haven't hit a homer for a while. Why not? So he sends one to left field, and him and Bomer score, and that makes it 5-2 Phillies, and that wouldn't be it. Top of the ninth, they really knocked around the ninth. The pitcher, what's it, Woodford, the guy in the ninth inning. He allowed 4 hits and 5 runs. 4 of them earned out of that, with 2 walks in that inning. Still had 3 strikeouts. They let up 1 home run, which we'll talk about in a moment. Then Alec Boehm singles on a live drive. Bryce scores. JT scores, making it 7-2. And then Nick Castellanos having himself a night. Singles and drives in Brandon Marsh 8-2, and that will be your final score for the night. 8-2 Phillies, winning the first game of the series. Let's see if we can take the series and get that number down to the very least, coming back to Philly with a 2, with the magic number 2 to get that bye. Could be even less than that, even if we don't only win 1 more game this weekend. Because we're going to look at that. I want to look at the schedule. I want to talk about all this stuff. We got a lot of things to break down. That's what's fun about doing these post-game show, guys, at the end of the season. A lot of little storylines to break down here. Walker Buehler is your long guy in case one of the starters can't go over 2 or 3 innings. It's really not a bad thing if you don't think about it. No, it's Dave. It's what I've been talking about since I opened up the show. I agree with you 100%. I might not agree with that blue star on there, but I agree with you when you say that, because I really thought baseball by now somebody would have had more long guys like that in there, like maybe 1 or 2 less bullpen guys, and more long guys that they can stack up. So you're using less pitchers, and like once a week, you're only using two long relievers, or one short starter or 1 long reliever, and then 1 typical bullpen guy. But I guess that doesn't always work out. But it worked out the way Tomper wanted it. He had a little fun with the Walker Buehler lineup, or tandem as he called it. And I think it's also setting up the lineup for going into the postseason this week going into the postseason. That's another important thing too. I mean, everything's listen, it's becoming a big chess game now. So for those who are just joining me, welcome into the Fighting's final. It's 8-2 Phillies win. I know it's almost 1 a.m. here Saturday, September 20th on the East Coast. So if you're a Diamondbacks fan, you're watching this, probably not, because you've had enough. But it is 8-2. Phillies are now 92-62 on the season. 8 more games left in the season. So we'll 8 more regular season games, I should say, for the Phillies. The Diamondbacks, with their loss tonight, are now at 500. They're 77-77, and they're kind of hanging around, but very thin string now, and that's what we're gonna really get into. So let's do this. Let's jump on the train here and take a ride down the Broad Street for the bottom line. Bottom line, guys. Bottom line is Phillies keep winning, and they keep winning the way we want them to. Because, even, let's be honest, we can be very critical as a Phillies fan base, as a Philadelphia fan base. And, they can hit 5 home runs in the game, and that's not sustainable. Or they're very inconsistent, or the pitching sucks, but the bat's good, or the bats are bad and they're cold, and the pitching sucks, and the bullpen's not this, and this, that, and the other. Listen, we're not perfect in any which way, but we are playing very good, consistent baseball. Like, home runs are coming when we need them, but we're not relying on them. So we're getting, for the most part, pretty good starts out of our starting pitcher, even sans Zach Wheeler, with a big loss that is. They've really rallied around that situation. And, the Yon Duran edition, the Walker Buehler edition, has really kind of found a way of solidifying some holes in this pitching staff in some way. So, I mean, at this point, looking around baseball, there's a lot of mediocrity in baseball. This is the time for the Phillies to strike. Nobody's running away with this. We'll look at the lineup and we'll look at the postseason current layout. Like, who are you afraid of? Like right now, you can start putting your answers in. Is there one team, no matter, I don't care if it's let's start with an NLT, and then who would you not want to see in the American League team? Like, who scares you that the Phillies would really struggle against? I can't really think of anybody off the top of my head. Yes, that's hey Freddie, what's up, buddy? Al Z. Yeah, it's just a lot easier than fitting the full last name on there, and it's not easy for people to pronounce. So, yes, Al Z, that's me. What's going on, Freddie? You up late tonight, buddy? Hope all is well. But let's do why don't we do a trip around the bases real quick? Check on the scores from today, and we'll go into some of this postseason breakdown of what it could look like as of right now. All right, guys, trip around the base. It's real simple for those or anybody new to the post game show here, the Fightins final. We're just going to look around the league, today's scores of all the other games that have gone on. Most of them should be done by now. So the Braves won 10-1 over the Tigers tonight. The Reds won 7-4 over the Cubs tonight, or I guess last night. Technically, we're in the morning. Athletics squeaked one out over the Pirates 4-3. Orioles won over the Yankees 4-2. Mets demolished. I mean, it was a high-scoring game for the most part, but they handled the Nationals 12-6. Sox handled the Rays 11-7. The Royals put a 20 spot. You heard that right, 20 runs to 1 on the Blue Jays. 20-1 on the Blue Jays. That was a spanking right there. White Sox were 4-3 over the Padres. Miami was 6-4 over the Rangers. The Rockies are 7-6 over the Angels. Mariners are 4-0 against Houston. The Guardians beat the Twins 6-2. The Cardinals beat the Brewers 7-1. The Phillies beat the Diamondbacks, as we've talked about this whole show, 8-2. And final, Dodgers beat the Giants 6-3. Clayton Kershaw had his last home start for as a Dodger because he's retiring, and that's pretty cool. I mean, guy's had a heck of a storied career, just timeless in some ways, but hate him or love him or hate him, I mean, got to respect the man. Hey, Al, I'm curious what you're thinking about when Turner comes back. Do you take Bader out of the leadoff spot? Just curious. Good question. It's a good question. Maybe you take him out of the leadoff spot, but then I guess to me it's maybe it's a matchup thing, lefty righty, whatever. But ultimately, him one or two, either one or two, I'm okay with. Because you get to leave Harper at 3, and then we got Schwarber at 4. That's really I'm really excited about. I would love to see that. I think that lineup would be just perfect for the playoffs when he returns. I mean, it's I would like to see Schwarber in the 4-hole. You get to leave Harper in a 3-hole, and I'm good with either one at the 1 or 2 spot. I thought you would leave Trey at 1 originally when he first got here. Bader at 2, 3, 4. JT at 5 because he's been hitting very well still. He's been pretty consistent since late June, mid-June. Brandon Marsh, and you can go. You probably flip Brandon Marsh and JT a little bit back and forth. Depending on who's starting, Nick Castellanos in right, and then Stott or Bohm, Nick Castellanos, and then Stott in the 9-hole, which I really like. I mean, it's really been. I think that's been a big thing for Stott being in the 9-hole. It's taking a lot of pressure off him in that position. So yeah, I'm okay with either one of them in leadoff, but whatever is best for the team in that course. What are magic number to clinch 2 seed? What will they go for the 1? Well, I guess they're going to go for the 1, but the magic number for the 2 seed, I think we're down to 3 right now. Yeah, we're down to 3. So that way we're going to get a bye either way. It's just, and let's talk about it, Fred. I mean, you're bringing it up here. It's it was a piece I wanted to talk about here with everybody and get everybody's opinion, thoughts on it, because we're going to look at. We did a trip around the bases. I want to look at the standings, but let's look at it. If baseball was to end today, if the regular season was to end today, as of the start of today, of September 20th, this is what it looks like. This is what the postseason picture would look like. So right now we would have the bye, and so would the Brewers in the National League, and the Mets would go against the Dodgers, and the San Diego Padres would go against the Cubbies, and the winner of the Mets-Dodgers would come to Philly, which is going to be a difficult matchup no matter how you slice it. I mean, the Mets have been playing not great baseball. They've been a little better over the last couple of days. I mean, let's see. They have been, I think they are 4-6 in their last 10, but they won their last 2 in a row. They are playing Washington right now, and they're at 80 and 74 right now. So just, a couple ticks above 500 at this point. I mean, outside of us, the Dodgers and the Cubs, nobody's really above 500 baseball in the last 10 days. Everybody's either 55-5 and below, including the Diamondbacks, including the Brewers. Brewers lost tonight, so that's big for us. This can change, and we would, if we somehow inch out and take the Brewers spot, then it would just flip the Phillies and the Brewers. The other four teams would stay the same, and we would just see the winner of the Cubs Padres, which I guess we would want to see more than you would want to see the winner of the Mets Dodgers series. Man, I'm still scared about the Mets, but need the revenge. Are you, Fred? Let me ask you this question: are you more afraid of the Mets from the Mets, or from the Mets playing at Citi Field, like in New York at Citi Field? Like, is that what you're more like worried about? Because it's been a house of horrors. They've been swept up there. This Mets team is not the same team, and they are playing. Even though they're getting into the playoffs, I mean, I'm sure their fans will get up for them a little bit, but they have no aspirations for this team, and I don't blame them. The team looks, they're beating some bad teams, and that's about it. But they're also getting whipped for the most part. They're lucky that Cincinnati and Arizona have been playing some mediocre ball. I mean, Cincinnati's been playing. They won 3 games, but if the Mets didn't win their last 2 games, it'd be a lot. The Cincinnati Reds could be above them right now. So I don't know. Like, I get what you're saying. Yeah, Citi Field. Yeah, and I get that, and I look at that. And hey, let me ask you this, Fred. I'll ask everybody here. How do you feel about the bye? With baseball being as a consistency thing and a regular thing, and like these guys play like that, and they're so used to their routines and their time off, and we know how sometimes when you come back from breaks like the All-Star break, or you start off the season slow or whatever it is, do you worry about that break, like letting the Mets and Dodgers fight it out? I mean, the best part about the break is, you get a little time off, get to lick your wounds, especially for guys like Trey Turner who are coming back and stuff like that. But does that little time off scare you more than playing up in Citi Field? Yeah, they did lose. They've lost all of their games this season in New York, Fred. Yep, all the games in New York have been lost, or at Citi Field, I should say, have been lost. So it's I get it. You're not. It's not something that you can look past, but I don't see them beating the Dodgers. I really think it's Phillies and LA. Historically, Philly has done well against LA in the postseason in the last 20 to 25 years. And LA has not a great team, and they have good starting pitching, don't get me wrong, but their bullpen is not. It's going to be hard for them to carry this team in a close game. And the way the Phillies, they match up against LA pretty well, in the sense that LA has a bad bullpen, and the Phillies are really good at hitting in the 7th and 8th and 9th inning. So that matchup would be interesting. Teams have won the World Series with the bye. I think we could use the time. I believe we could use the time too. It's just consistency. It's just such a weird thing to question a bye. In any other sport, I look forward to a bye. But this is the one sport you still have to question it. But yeah, I think with Bomer just getting back, Trey, I would imagine we'll see Trey sometime back in Philly. And just to get some rust off of him, because you really can't have him take this whole time and then a bye and then expect him to go up against the Mets or the Dodgers, And let's look at that real quick. Let's look at what this schedule would look like. Here's your schedule right now. So as of right now, they wouldn't play through the 30th of October 2nd. And our first game would be somewhere around the 4th of October. So the schedule right now for the rest of the year. So that means their last games on October 28th. It would be a whole week, or I should say 6 days until they play baseball again. 6-day layoff. So, I mean, it's just something to worry about. You don't want to lose that juice. They have been playing such consistent baseball lately. It's really, that's what I'm scared of more than anything. It's just losing that consistency. I know it's silly, but it's true. Like, I agree with Fred in the sense that they use the time to lick their wounds, rest. And the best part is you get to set your lineup for that first NLDS. You really don't have to worry about 4-man rotation until the NLCS. Then that's a great problem to have. I mean, the other guys would have to worry about, whoever they play would have to worry about that, because they have to go up again. They have to use their guys in a wild card series. Al, if the Mets get in, I believe they would actually beat the Dodgers. Honestly, if the Mets get hot, that offense is dangerous. I agree with you. That offense can be dangerous if they got it. Let's just devil's advocate for a moment. Match up against the Phillies. The Phillies can get hot and they can be as if not more dangerous than that lineup in some ways, but close. But it's the pitching. They don't have much starting pitching. Their bullpen is shaky at best. So we match up against them pitching wise much better. So I mean, I get it. It's just I don't want the City Field ghost haunting them. You know what I mean? Just like whatever Oracle is it Oracle Park in San Fran does to them. And it's not just them. It's anybody who wears the red and white. Like anybody who wears the Phillies jersey, and when they're in San Fran, it's just whatever it is, and it's been like that for the last decade. I mean, it's not just like this team or these players. It's guys going all the way back to like 2015. They're like they've won like 3 or 4 games out of like the possible 20, I think, in the last decade in San Fran. So, and San Fran is one of those teams that really, if they get into the postseason, they can be scary. And I mean, it doesn't look like it right now. They're 3.5 games out. They're 1 game behind Arizona, who's 2.5 games out, and they're a game and a half behind Cincinnati, who's 2 games behind the Mets. It's going to be a dogfight for the Mets and Cincy. Arizona, they unfortunately have a bad luck of the draw, because I know they have us for the rest of the weekend, so that's 2 more games there. Then they play the Dodgers next week. I think Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, something like that. 23rd, 24th, 25th, something like that, whatever it is. They have the Dodgers. So they got to go 3 games against us and 3 games against the Dodgers. That doesn't bode well for Arizona. So right now, I think the only thing that really threatens the Mets are the Reds and the Mets. The Mets threaten themselves. I'm not trying to look past them, but they are not. Listen, man, they're 4-6. I think they're maybe they're not even above 500 for the month of September. I mean, tonight they had a good game. They won their last 2 games, but they're playing Washington. Let's see what happens when they play a good team like the Dodgers. The Dodgers have injuries, but they also have guys like Freddie Freeman. They also have Ohtani. And if Ohtani pitches, like we saw the other night when we played the Dodgers, Ohtani came out. And Ohtani probably would have stayed in if that was a playoff game, most likely. And that could have been a different outcome of that game. So that does play a little bit of a factor into it, too. So you got to look at those things. But we saw how the NLDS would line up. I'll show you this again real quick. So this is the rest of September. So after this weekend, we got three games against Miami, who would love to spoil us. But it would be pretty hard. I mean, if we win 1 more game and win this series, our magic number's down to 2. Depending on what the Dodgers do, say everything stays the same, 2, we would have – there's no way we don't win 2 of the next 6 games. Just I mean, it's not no way, but very slim chances against Miami and the Twins. So I don't know how we get. I don't know how we get stuck with a Twins series at the end of at the end of the week, but we do. At the end of the season, you would usually it's divisional or at least an NL game. So whoever set that up. And speaking of lineups, here's your lineup tonight. Me tomorrow, Pat Bernard, and then Sunday, Matty B. That's right. For the last away stint of this regular season for your Phillies, wrap up against the Diamondbacks. It's going to be a hell of a lineup. It's a hell of a lineup here. It's a hell of a lineup for the Phillies. And here's again, real quick look at the postseason. If it was all end today, let's look at the American League just for some giggles, real quick. That's a great wild card weekend. Boston versus Yankees. I mean, you can't. That's something you ask for, like in the NLCS, maybe DS, but CS if you're talking about a ratings thing. Houston, Detroit. How about Detroit, man? Like I thought they were getting a bye no matter what. Toronto has been crazy. Has been sneaky good, and Seattle's snuck up on everybody as well. So that's big for them. I mean, Detroit versus Seattle, and then Toronto versus Yankees or Boston. It's going to be interesting on the AL side. And again, who scares you? I know some people have said the Mets. I understand that. Anybody else scare anybody? Usually Phil's always end with the Nationals. The Twins is kind of weird if you think about it. No, that's exactly what I'm saying. I think ending with an American League team, I think, is weird, Dave, and especially the Twins, because there's no, like, I can understand maybe the Yankees or Boston, typical teams that we have a little bit of a history with, especially Yankees, but maybe the Rays because of the old World Series. But I mean, I don't know. I wouldn't expect because the way the schedule lays out and the way the implications it could have in the playoffs. I would expect the Mets to be, or the Phillies to be playing against at least the National League team at the very least. So, guys, I remind you that there's a lot of great lineups here on the Is a Wrap Sports Network, including the Fightins Final. So let's look at right now. Tomorrow you'll have a post-game show. There's no Happy Valley Huddle because the Penn State has a bye week. And then Sunday, the Eagles-Rams. You have the new Steel City Sunday. So it's a pre and post game for Pittsburgh. So adding a little Pittsburgh love here because you have this Pittsburgh Sports Desk starting next week, and also Gridiron Weekly talking NFL and NCAA football across the board. So you're getting a lot of football coverage here at the It's a Wrap Sports Network, and some football, of course, with the Attacking Third with Steve and Pat Thursdays at 9 p.m. I have to fix that graphic because I can't read the 9 part. But yeah, so you have that talking football and more football talk with the Birds Blast with Kyle Quinn and Matty B, which is always the old man versus the young man. It's timeless stuff. And like I said, normally, but just not now. This week, you have the Happy Valley Huddle with Mike Laro doing post game for Penn State, as well as Mike does props, locks, and parlays. And don't forget some PM in the AM. And of course, who could forget? It's the wraparound with Pat Bernard Fridays at 10:30, and of course Sunday through Thursday, the flagship show, the final word with Matty B, which is always interesting and positive. I'm sure positivity just ensues. But other than that, guys, Phillies win 8-2. You have 9 more games left. 9 more. 9 more games to end the season, 9 more games to get to the postseason, and then I don't sit down until November. Until the Phillies they win or they're out, or until it's over, because that's when I come on the finals and I tell you guys, don't hang on every pitch. This is when it's okay to hang on every pitch. I mean, the postseason, I will hang on to every little pitch, every little moment, every little bit of it. I will hang on to it. Trust me, you. But so right now, locked up, Milwaukee, locked up their title. We locked up our title. I'm sorry. We locked up our title. Milwaukee and Chicago locked up their playoff berths, and Dodgers and Padres are still kind of fighting that out right now. So we're the only ones who locked up their division, but the four of us have locked up a playoff berth for the most part. So that is about it. Seems like the season doesn't want to end though. Ugh. Yeah, it does. It does and it doesn't, Dave. Like September has kind of cruised along in my eyes. And I think part of it is because, knock on wood, this team has been playing some really consistent baseball. So it's been a lot less stressful, maybe. And that's why it feels like it's not moving very fast, because you're not waiting for the next game and waiting. Can they lock this up? Can they lock this up? Because right now you're just worried about them getting a bye, and I don't see them not getting one. I really just don't. I mean, unless this team decides to just fall off the face of the earth. But they got guys like Weston Wilson playing and they're winning. They got guys. I mean, Sosa has been injured, but when he was playing, they were winning. Like whoever they put out there, this team is just winning, and they're getting production from up and down the lineup. And Brandon Marsh is consistent. I mean, Brandon Marsh is, the conversation might need to be had about Brandon Marsh is, do we lock up Brandon Marsh in the offseason? Is it time to lock up Brandon Marsh? Because certain person on the network, Matty B, said it was a bad trade. And like, we can wait till we see how this plays out, because as we always say, regular season's one thing, but the postseason is everything. If he continues to play like this throughout the postseason, consistently playing good defense, playing good offense, maybe even a hero of a game here or there, do we have to talk about locking him up in the postseason? Because I already told you, I think Nick Castellanos is gone no matter what. They got to worry about locking up Schwarber. I don't know I have to look at what Brandon Marsh's contract looks like. I can look that up real quick just before we go. Brandon Marsh contract. Through 2025 season, 1 year, $3 million contract to avoid arbitration for that year. So let's see. Oh, that was the arbitration. Sorry. So we have so he's got a while before we have to worry about locking him up. But we got arbitration for 2 more years. So we got him for a little bit longer. But the decision's going to have to be made at one point if we're going to lock him up. Just blows my guy, like a guy like Bader, Wilson, and Kepler keeps this team afloat. I mean, give Max Kepler his flowers, Dave. I mean, you and I both probably wanted to drive him to the airport at one point. And Wilson, he's just doing what he gets his opportunity to do. Otto Kemp, same thing. When he gets his opportunity, he's doing what he does. So that's what guys are supposed to do. What bench guys are supposed to do. When the opportunity comes about, they take advantage of it. Like we saw Sosa do plenty of times when Trey Turner got hurt. So Bader has been the one I think that people are eating a little crow on right now. We'll see how it looks in the playoffs. But when they signed a big name like Duran, they expected a big name, a big household name. And they got Bader. Well, why we want Bader? He's been on like a bunch of different teams lately. Because you know what? He's been unfortunately on teams that weren't making the playoffs, but he's still a good player and he had value for them. And they knew like, well, it's not worth us keeping him. So let's get something for him. It's not because he's not good. It's because he's good and he's value. So there's going to be a conversation to try to get him situated in the postseason. Postseason Phillies is going to be interesting, no matter win or lose. There's going to be a lot of interesting. I mean, the big talk's going to be Schwarber. The big talk's going to be about starting pitching. What are they going to do? Is Zach Wheeler going to be ready? Ranger Suarez's contract's going to be up. Aaron Nola, is he going to be able to bounce back next year? Luzardo, Taijuan Walker. I mean, there's a lot of moves that are going to have to be made. There's got to be a reason why Bader has been on 6 teams. Look at it. Hold on, I'm going to tell you right now. Harrison Bader. Let's do this. Let's do this. Sorry. Harrison Bader. Here we are. I don't want his contract. Let's look at Harrison Bader here. So 2023, he was with the Mets, then the Reds, the Yankees, and he was with the Twins before he was with us, of course. The Cardinals, and then before that was all minor league stuff. So, I mean, if you look at it, he's just a guy who, had a few good years at a place, and then maybe the Cardinals kind of were going downhill, so they moved on. He had a good year in New York, and then he had like an okay year, and they moved on from him to the Reds, and then he moved on to the Reds. They traded him to the Twins because they were mediocre, and the Twins became mediocre, and they traded him to the Phillies. So, I mean, I get what you're saying, but he's shown you he's a good glue guy there, and he's a good guy who can, when he can hit, he can be consistent. So I'm not sitting here telling you he's the second coming of Jesus or anything, Dave, but I think it's more just been circumstantial for him than it's been he's a problem or he's not that good. But it also could be consistency thing. So maybe we don't have to worry about him next year. Let him do what he's supposed to. Get him here, get this team consistent, win a World Series, and then after that, we worry about what we worry about after that. But that's how I look at it. But on that, guys, Phillies win the 8-2. Keep your eye on the Wrap Sports Network. Have a good night. It is 1:30 in the morning. I'm exhausted. I know you guys are. Have a great day. I'm Big Al. Check me out on Big Al Sports with a Z on the X. Occasionally I throw some wisdom on there. I'm also on TikTok too. If I get the urge. You see a lot of me sharing a lot of Clifton Rams stuff. That's because I'm coaching football over there. So big game on. We have to play on Sunday. We play against an organization that wants to play on Sundays, which is annoying. And we are the Rams playing the Eagles, the Darby Township Eagles on Sunday when the Eagles are playing the Rams in South Philly. So this will be the one Eagles-Rams game. You're going to be voting for Rams, people. But other than that, I'm Big Al. Check it out, guys. We will talk to you soon. Have a great morning and get some rest.